you can give the cashier a coupon code. They make it really easy to do this, and I think it's just another great way to drive more traffic. You can link up your blog or your website with your listing, and then it's all a way to get your name out there, get in front of people, but then also in the end is to grow your business. So let's take a look here. We're coming up on the last 15 minutes. Just to kind of summarize everything, these are some great social media tools that you can use. We touched on blogging very briefly, but WordPress, I would recommend to download WordPress, and then you can install that directly into your hosting package or your website. It's a really simple way to set up your blog.
Yeah, I definitely recommend WordPress, and it is I think it's better to attach it to your own domain name as opposed to setting it up on a WordPress server. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Or a Blogger server. I mean, it's better connection to your website. It drives more traffic to your website directly. It helps with SEO.
Yeah, as far as WordPress goes, it's pretty easy to utilize. It's a pretty user-friendly interface. There's WordPress.com, which is where they're actually going to host your blog. And there's WordPress.org, which is where you just download the software, and then you have that software to integrate into your own website. It's much better to go to WordPress.org. This is something where you're going to have all that search engine optimization, and you're going to be updating your website live. You can see a couple more tools here. Facebook.com, that's how you create your page. TheBusiness.Twitter.com, Learn.LinkedIn.com, TweetDeck, CodeTweet, and Hootsuite. These are, I think everybody laughs whenever they kind of see the different, the different Twitter names. But these are basically just software programs where you can manage your social media outreach, right?
Yeah, it just puts them all into one place. So instead of having to click back and forth between screens, it's just right all in front of you.
Yeah, I think you use Hootsuite, right?
I use Hootsuite, yeah.
Okay, so and that's something that works pretty well for Christine. If you wanted to try out the other ones, all these are free.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, give them a try. TwitPic, this is an easy way for you to post a picture to your Twitter feed. It makes it simple. This is something you can check out. There's a lot of pictures that are being posted up there. It's something, all these things I recommend just going to their website, checking them out at least, and seeing if they're right for you. And then a couple of the last ones we talked about, Foursquare.com/businesses and biz.yelp.com. These are all ways to kind of get you started. And we'll include all these links in the email that goes out. You'll be receiving that tomorrow. So finishing up here, here's a few good resources that we kind of pulled from for this presentation and that we just follow on a regular basis. Probably the number one resource as far as social media goes online is Mashable.com. It's a fantastic blog, really easy to read, really short posts. I think that if you're just getting into social media, it's something that keeps you up to date, but it also has just a ton of content over the past few years. Duct Tape Marketing for small business owners. I think that this should be your number one site when you think about any type of marketing strategy. John Jantz is the owner of DuctTapeMarketing.com, and he just does a fantastic job really getting down to the nitty-gritty of what you can do with not a lot of money to help market your business. Chris Brogan and Brian Solis, these are two of the social media gurus, you might want to call them. They both have a couple great websites that have a ton of good content. Socialmedia.alltop.com. This is another good aggregator where you'll have a lot of these people that are included in these resources. It'll aggregate all that information for you and put it into one place. Read Write Web, another great social media outlet to give you more information. Smart Brief on Social Media is a daily newsletter that comes out. I think it's great to go and sign up and check it out. It's the social media news of the day delivered directly to your inbox. And then finally, the socialmediaexaminer.com I think is another good site for you.
Yeah, I think these all have all the information that you need. They do a lot of different stuff across various levels of expertise, so they'll give you help getting started every step of the way, pretty much. Even to the gurus, if you're a social power user, there's still something that you're going to learn from these sites.
Yeah,
it's really great. Sign up for the newsletters, check them regularly.
So we're going to go ahead and get to your questions now, and I apologize. That was a ton of information that we just kind of ran through. So excuse us for going a little bit fast. We are recording this, and we'll post this for you, and then we're also going to, like I said, be sending out that email tomorrow that's going to have a lot of great information for you. But let's get to your questions. We've been recording them throughout the presentation here, and we have a ton. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Christine, is there any that you saw that you'd like to handle first?
From the beginning, is it okay to repost relevant content from other influencers on your Facebook business page? Yes, absolutely do that. If it's relevant to your customers and to the people who you're trying to talk to, absolutely repost it. Same with Twitter. You can retweet from other influencers. Any content is good content.
Yeah.
Also great to include your opinion on what they're saying.
Yeah, I think that's a good start. And we didn't talk about this earlier, but I wanted to mention it. Social media is all about repurposing content. So if you make a really good blog post, you can then turn that into a Twitter post. You can share it on your Facebook page. You can put it in your newsletter if you do a email marketing newsletter. So these are all things where when you write something that's good, keep reusing it. Not over and over again, of course, but use it on different platforms. So here's a good one. Can you give examples of a goal for Facebook? I don't think you really want to get into a numbers game where you're saying, I want to hit 100 fans or 100 likes, whatever you want to call it,
right,
of people in a certain amount of time. What you want to do is do achievable goals. I'd like to get 10% or something. Have a number in mind of traffic you want to get from your Facebook page. So let's say you're currently out there and you're networking and you want to try to drive traffic to your website. Maybe that's something that you can say. You want to say, hey, I'm going to start posting stuff to Facebook and see. I'm going to record my analytics on my website. I'm going to see if I can start getting some Facebook some traffic directly from Facebook. 4 posts a week, I think that's a good one.
Absolutely.
If you want to just have 1 post per day, if you want to have 1 post per week, whatever it is, have specific goals so that you're putting it out there and then you're actually trying to meet it rather than just saying, oh, I'm going to do Facebook, and then all of a sudden you look and it's been 3 weeks since you've done anything on it. So I think the same can be said for blogging. Blogging is really tough sometimes to come up with different content, and that was another question that we had is how do I know like how many blog posts are good? Well, it's however many you want to write. And if you have a lot of content you want to put out there, then that's great. If you want to do it once a week, then that's fine too. But it's just having something in mind, having an editorial calendar in mind also, and getting that news out there directly to your followers.
Yeah, another thing is for across the platforms is who in your business should be in control of these, who should be tweeting, who should be posting to Facebook, who should be the administrator for these accounts. That can be anybody in your business. I suggest you put more than one person on each. Of course, with Twitter, you get the same login information, but with Facebook, you can add as many administrators to your Facebook page as you want. And that they all log in through their personal profiles. It's good definitely as a business owner to be an admin on all of those and to choose somebody who's pretty connected to your business, somebody you trust, and somebody who's probably not going to disappear.
Yeah. We got a good question for LinkedIn. What are your thoughts on sharing connections? And I assume what that question means is what are your thoughts on introductions? Or basically, I'm connected to someone and someone else contacts me and says, hey, I see that you've got a contact over there at AT&T. Can you hook me up with an introduction? I think it kind of goes back to the real world and, would you introduce these two people face-to-face? Is this someone that you trust to kind of put your seal of approval on, to give your recommendation to, and then, share them with your connection that you have? I've done it in the past, but I've done it pretty sparingly. I do receive a lot of requests for people to connect with someone that I might be connected with, or but typically, if it makes sense, if I know that person's not going to be selling them something, if I know that they're going to appreciate it from me, I would say that's probably a good way to think about it. So we've got a few more questions here. Actually, quite a few questions.
Yeah, we could go on. On Twitter, do you go to a different part of Twitter to start a business account? No, it's all the same. On Twitter, there's only one type of account to create. It's the same if personal or business, but you can go to that business resource page to get information on it.
Yeah. We got a question. This is pretty interesting. For some industries like financial services, you need to have all conversations recorded. Do you know how companies that keep these conversations recorded so the SEC can access them? That's a really good question. To be honest with you, I don't know of any directly, but I think that raises a really good point about social media. Social media might not work for everyone. And this is one of those instances where, you know, if you might be giving financial advice and it gets into SEC implications and, you know, there's certain legal requirements that have to go with it, it's something you really need to be careful about. And, you know, it might not be exactly for your industry or for your business. But, you know, for most people, it's probably going to work pretty well. But off the top of my head, I don't really know any sites that would record all the conversations.
Yeah, there are some monitoring tools that you can buy, but, I mean, most of it, you know, it's kind of just to make sure that you get every conversation, and it's kind of risky. And the ones that you purchase are they can be expensive, a couple $1,000s a month.
Yeah, exactly. Some of these services can be pretty pricey. So, so I'm taking a look here. So here's a question. Facebook business pages are linked to a personal account, correct? To whom within the company should we link the business page? I think that might be a little bit of a misunderstanding. Those two pages aren't really linked, correct?
Yeah, they're not really linked. It's just when you set up somebody as an admin, then they're automatically logged into the business page.
They can access that.
They can access that, yeah. And when they if you post on the wall of the business page as an admin, it'll show up as coming from the company name and not from your personal name.
Yeah, exactly. So you might have, you know, I have a page for me, for Aaron Nye, but then we also have a page for One-on-One. And while I can go in and access that and make changes, it's specifically a business page, and it's all about the business. So. Mm-hmm. If you see here, we're going to be wrapping up in about 5 minutes or so. If you do have any further questions, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/one-on-one, also twitter.com/one-on-one. So we'll go through a couple more questions here. We have a question here. Can you show an example of creating a custom tab? I think that's a really good question, and it's something that Facebook makes pretty easy to do. We can take a look at some of the different developing tools that Facebook has. I pulled up some of those.
Yeah, it's pretty easy at this point. I mean, it's about the same as doing an email or anything else. There's, I mean, you can upload a picture, or, I mean, it's not too difficult using some of the tools.
Yeah, and I think what Facebook's done a great job of is making all this really easy. So if you, say, for instance, want to add a like button to your website, where you can actually have people who are on your website then link to your Facebook business page and like your business automatically. They give you all the different plugins, all the different code that you're going to need, and they give it to you in a really digestible format that's really easy to do. So they go through and, you know, show you exactly how it's going to work, what happens if somebody clicks on it, and all these things. And you can actually go, this is the developers page, developers.facebook.com, but you can actually go to facebook.com/share, SHARE, and that'll kind of put you on the right path to getting some really good information. But you can see here in the developers page, it shows you how you can create applications on Facebook and mobile apps and things like that. But it's also going to give you some really good information about what you can do to your website as far as adding Facebook goes, and you know, how you can actually go and add some different things to your Facebook profile. All right. Couple more questions here. I have a business page and cannot friend request people. How can I reach out to my target? Not sure exactly what that means. So
yeah, if you have a business page, it works mostly like a personal page, but people have to come to your business page and say that they like it. You can't really, it doesn't work the same way as friend requesting people. So I think that's